Good day, everyone, and welcome to Different Stages Radio. I'm your host, JJ, broadcasting from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. You know, my next guest from such bands as Barren Earth and from his most recent project, Octoploid, but most notably from the band Amorphis, who have a brand new live album Blu-ray set that just came out on July 12th, Tales from the Thousand Lakes, live at Tavastia. Please welcome my guest, Oppu Laine. How are you, sir?
Thank you, JJ. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful day here in Finland. It's a little bit cooler than in Vancouver, I bet, but still, I enjoy staying in my office and doing interviews.
In your man cave.
In my man cave, yeah. You said so.
So 30 years, I'm sure you're perhaps getting a little bit exhausted, maybe not talking about how long it's been, but really, like, I want to ask, does it feel like 30 years? But I also want to reference to, I remember working at HMV in 1994, selling Tales from the Thousand Lakes as a new release, and it sure doesn't feel like 30 years to me. Does it feel like 30 years to you?
Well, it does and it doesn't. You know, it's, of course, the time has flown. It's like I feel like 20 still, but still referring to the reality. Probably it's a long time ago. You know, it's been like 35 years since the band was formed, and it's been 30 years since the album was released. So and if I recall those times, you could say that it's been a long time because we were just like a bunch of kids back then and doing like really stupid stupid stuff. We have probably grown a little bit older, especially during the past, say, like 5 years. I think it's been really like a little bit more mature. The touring and all, touring and all has been a little bit more professional than back in the days. We just it probably has to do something with the fact that we didn't expect much from this band when we started it. So we just didn't take touring that seriously. We just wanted to travel to the world and have free beer and meet people and smoke a lot of cigarettes or whatever. So it's totally different kind of ball game nowadays. So all I can tell that we have changed as a band and as people, as human beings, pretty much. So it must have been a long ride.
And now you realize that it's more of a marathon, perhaps, than a sprint. So you know how to pace yourself better. And
yeah, definitely. I don't know what we thought back then, what was the mindset, but we just wanted to play music and our goals weren't very high. We just wanted to play in the local clubs with other death metal bands. And when we kind of achieved, or what, how do you spell it?
Achieved.
Achieved certain things, we were just like really happy about those. When we got to play first time to Tavastia, it was like a huge event for us, and we weren't aware that we could do such stuff. You know, we didn't value ourselves as a band as much as we could have probably. So it's been like everything that has came to us. It's kind of a positive thing, and we take nothing as granted even nowadays. Like so it's kind of after all, it's kind of good attitude in this business to just go ahead little by little and be happy where you are in the moment.
Excellent. Now, looking back at the time that you recorded Tales from the Thousand Lakes, did it feel like you had something special and unique at the time, or is it hard to really recognize what you did at that time? Perhaps it's a bit easier now looking back, but at the time, did you feel like we have something pretty special here?
Well, if you ask me, it didn't feel that way because, of course, we tried to create something as unique as possible, and we wanted to be different from the other death metal bands because, generally, all the death metal bands were quite different from each other back then. If you talk about Swedish death metal, Entombed, and American death metal like Morbid Angel or whatever, and UK death metal, Paradise Lost and Carcass, all those bands were different from each other, and that's what we wanted to be as well. And it was kind of lucky coincidence that we kind of started to listen to totally different kind of music. We just wanted to listen to progressive rock and folk music, and also we wanted to take the lyrics from those Finnish national poems, and also we had a Kasper who was playing keyboards with us. He was a non-metal guy entirely. He was not into death metal, but he was our friends, and he played in another band with me, a rock band. And I just asked him like, we need a keyboard player for live shows because we had some keyboard parts in Karelian Isthmus already. So we needed to somehow pull those keyboard parts off in a live situation as well. So he came and played like in couple parts yeah, during the live show, and then when we started to write the music for the next album, we kind of it was kind of natural thing to have Kasper with us composing, and it was kind of a game-changing situation for us because we had to take keyboards in consideration, and we noticed that now we had way more opportunities where we could go with the music, and we kind of used that opportunity. So it was not intentional to try to do something phenomenal or something like really like a extraordinary masterpiece. We just wanted to do as original music as possible, and we just wanted to make as good music as possible. And we first of all wanted to entertain ourselves with the songs, and because we didn't have much to lose, we were really like small band at the time, so we didn't have any kind of pressure from music technology, for example, which could be like a really like it could kill your creativity in a way, and probably that's something which happens pretty often nowadays, especially with young bands, that the record labels are demanding you to write mainstream songs immediately. But that was not the case back then, so we had possibility to do something different, and that's how it ended up to be a little bit different from other releases back then.
Yeah, you could pretty much ride underneath the bubble on Relapse at the time and kind of do your own thing and probably just be left alone, which is probably nice at the time. And
that's
just
right.
we'll see what happens.
It was kind of independent label, and they didn't have any expectation. I think they had pretty obscure bands apart from us. So I think they were only happy that we did something different.
Now, with the live from the Tales from the Thousand Lakes live at Tavastia, when was that actually recorded? Was that done around the live Queen of Time, or I was curious because I was able to find when that was actually recorded.
It was done in 2020 when the band had 30th anniversary. We were about to tour for the anniversary of the band in North America with Entombed AD in 2020, but then the pandemic kicked in, so the tour got cancelled.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because it would have been really exciting to do it, since we were touring with Entombed in '94 in North America, so it would have been kind of a revisit to those times in general. And also what happened to LG, it was kind of sad because we couldn't do it later either. So it was kind of a unique opportunity which kind of went in the air. So once we had rehearsed those Tales from the Thousand Lakes songs already, we just decided to go to Tavastia Club and re-record the album there on one day and a Queen of Time album on another day. So that was just something that we, I don't know, it was something that several bands did in COVID era. They played like streaming shows and so forth. I wasn't that great a fan of those, but still, for me, this is just a studio live album, something that, for example, bands from the '90s did with John Peel sessions. I want to see this like that it's kind of documentary of the situation, what it was in the COVID times, and when the band itself turned 30 years old. So, but now we can release it and celebrate the album's anniversary in a fancy way.
Now it makes more sense because I was getting a little concerned there for a moment. I'm thinking, why does this feel like COVID all over again? I appreciated the band's, the sentiment of doing those in-house or at home, or in your case, live at Tavastia, like in an actual venue solo. It's like, that's cool, but why do I feel like I'm back in that vibe again? And now, thank you for bridging the gap. It's making sense now. So you're saying that both of those shows were done in a day?
2 days. First we played Queen of Time album,
right.
and we played these old songs on the other day.
So maybe had a couple takes of a couple tracks, but more or less they were done in a day, or did you play it live straight through and then just mix it afterwards? Like, is everything one take?
Yeah, it was just one gig, and we just played them through, and our sound engineer mixed it later on.
That's very impressive. So I think that adds a lot more credibility to the fact that, done in a day, that is still very incredible. You're going to be doing a pretty cool tour again with, I think, a band you've toured with before. I know I've seen you with Dark Tranquillity here in 2018, I think it was. And you're going to be doing a co-headlining tour this fall. You'll be in Vancouver, where I'm located, September 21st at the Rickshaw Theatre. You can get tickets now for people looking through differentstagesradio.com if you want to get tickets. What is I assume you guys have a great connection with Dark Tranquillity, because like I was saying, this isn't the first time.
Yeah, we are bands, death metal bands from the same era, from the '90s, and from Scandinavia, naturally. I can't remember seeing those guys that much back in the days, but when we had that 2018 tour with the Moonspell and Dark Tranquillity, we became really good friends, and we kind of synced immediately and had the same chemistry, same kind of humor, and same musical tastes, and therefore it was kind of natural thing to redo that lineup, and kind of it feels good for me to come back to North America, because last time we toured there, it was a kind of bad situation due to the pandemic thing, and it was not always easy to do that tour because you had to wear masks and stuff like that. So it kind of sucked ass a big time. But now it's possible to redo Halo tour there. Of course, we will revise our set list entirely. It will be a different set. So yeah, I don't know. It's good to be on tour with those guys, and every now and then we meet on festival shows, and we have a few beers together, and it always feels good to be with them. So
well, some pranks, maybe. I have a feeling you might be a bit of a prankster. Am I correct about that or not?
Yeah. Well, general pranks, of course, but
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
serious. It's like with the age, it's not like I would like to smash a cake to someone's
yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah.
Back in the days, that happened, but it's a little bit more discreet nowadays.
A little bit more subtle, but still with good delivery.
Yeah, that's right. You put it right.
So, and I wanted to ask about your time away from the band. So you get back to the band during the Queen of Time run, and then, as we sort of discussed, the world comes to a crashing halt. Does that also mean leading into? I wanted to bring up Barren Earth while we still have some time. Is that on hold hiatus since your return to Amorphis, or can we look forward to something happening with Barren Earth at some point?
Well, it's just a hiatus, It's something that because I was kind of a Primus motor on Barren Earth, ever since I rejoined Amorphis, I just simply didn't have any time to do the arrangements or push or kick the guys to the ass and tell them that we are making another record. So, um, uh, but yeah, we've been talking about maybe doing some shows every now and then, and so forth. So we are in good terms with the guys, and it would be a blast to work with those fellows at some point. Currently, probably I'm a little bit too busy, and still, uh, Sami has Creator, and Marco and Janne are in Moonsoro, and Jon is in Comfort, and everyone is so busy, guys. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to try to arrange any shows. Like I remember when we are still active, we were playing probably maybe 5 shows a year because it was simply too hard to find common time to tour properly, which was kind of a problem for me because I wanted to tour, but the guys couldn't do it. So I wasn't really happy with the situation. So and I really wouldn't like to go there again. So let's see. Maybe if someday we will have uh, that kind of period in life that we could tour at the same time. So it would be nice to do it.
Put a little bookend on it, perhaps, because those are great records.
Yeah. I've sort of dig them as well. I haven't revisited them that much, but still, I think there is lots of valid material there, and there would have been lots of potential in Barren Earth to become a full-time band, but with that lineup, it was a little bit too much of a challenge.
Okay, well, I also wanted to ask you about your most recent project, Octoploid, as well. That just came out last month. Was that something that you had been percolating, kind of simmering on the oven for a while, or was that something that you maybe perhaps started as well during COVID, or what can you tell us about that? People that don't know, because it's a little bit
Yeah,
slightly under the radar. Diehards will know, but perhaps
of
others.
course. Yeah, well, it's something that in general sense I've been thinking about for a couple of decades already, that I could try to come up with my own album at some point, because I always dreamed of doing something in my entirely in my own terms, because in band situation it's always a compromise. Um, so you cannot get your point of view out unfiltered in any sense. So this was the only way for me to put that idea to realization. And now that I had uh, quite many songs under the belt, and I had skills to arrange songs to the form I'd like them to be, I kind of thought that, okay, because I was also turning 50 a couple of years back, so that was kind of a deadline for me always, that if I don't do it, then I'll just forget it. So I just had to go for it and see where it goes, because I knew this great drummer Mikko Pietinen, and he had his own studio where we could record drums. I just asked him that would he be interested in doing this, and he was into it immediately. So then we just started tracking the songs, even though we didn't even know if it's going to be an album or if it's going to be a band or if there's going to be other members involved. So it's just started little by little and naturally, and yeah, just became a full-blown band in that way. But still, yeah, we are planning to do one show in Helsinki in 2nd of August, and probably next year we are trying to come up with some kind of tours, at least in Finland.
Excellent. Something to look forward to. And should we also perhaps look forward to that once the Dark Tranquillity run is done, that you'll get back in the studio working on the new Amorphis as well, or has writing already begun for the next record?
Yeah, we are planning to start the pre-production process right after the tour, and somewhere in November or December we are entering the studio in order to record the new album, which should be ready somewhere in the end of February, and naturally the release would go somewhere to the end of 2025, and we will have a slight pause with Amorphis meanwhile. So yeah.
And that's when the Octoploid dates slide in.
Sorry?
That's when the Octoploid dates slide in.
Yeah, you said it. Let's see how it goes. I don't know.
Got to keep busy. Got to keep busy. Well, I appreciate your time. I don't want to take more of your time, but it's been awesome talking with you. This is cool. Oppu Laine from Amorphis, brand new Tales from the Thousand Lakes, live, CD, vinyl, Blu-ray, came out July 12th. Get it now. You can get it through differentstagesradio.com. Appreciate your time. We will see you soon.
Thank you, JJ. And Different Stages Radio.